Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the live show we do every morning at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. We give our live picks. Of course, we come from sportsbookreview.com. Jimmy the Bag. I'm pumped up. I'm fired up today. I got a little lucky on the total last night.
A little.
Yeah.
A little lucky?
Okay, more than a little
yeah,
lucky.
little lucky.
Listen there, tough guy. The breaks even out, okay? The breaks even out. I've had some tough breaks. We've all had some tough breaks. Listen, luck is luck. And, yeah, probably in retrospect, the under was still the right side last night. But look, let me put it to you this way, Jim. If I had lost the under last night, which I rightfully should have, you know what my record would have been?
Exceptional.
6-2. But because luck broke my way last night, you know what my record was?
You was
get this one.
7-1.
7-1. Jim's a little bit miffed. You had a slight losing day, but it wasn't that bad. You were 4-5 yesterday, right?
Right.
And you know, if the luck had broken your way, you would have been 5-4, which would have been, you know, a positive day.
It's nice to see you so happy, Pete.
Jim, overall, we're doing very well together. Look, there was one day when we were up 4 units combined, and it was because you were up 6 units and I was down 2 units. Yesterday, we were up 5 units combined, Jim, and that is nothing to be ashamed of, especially when you should have been up 1 unit yesterday. I mean, let's be honest here. Let's keep it real, right?
It was a very difficult loss to take.
Yes. On the other hand, that is totally also par for the course when it comes to NFL. You know, so the breaks, you know, just like in poker, you know, you get sucked out regularly, and the same shit happens in sports betting, and especially in the NFL when there's not that many scores, defensive scores, especially in the NHL with empty net goals. Any game where there are fewer scores, there's going to be more variance and more crap like what happened last night, Jim, right?
It just bothered me so much because I would have hit 6 straight NFL picks.
Right. And the positive to take from last night is that your winner on the NFL was a big winner, clearly the right side on Detroit. Yeah. So overall, you're doing fine, Jim. You are negative a little bit in NHL, which we've seen you bounce back from that. Nicely positive in NBA, and overall things are going well, Jim.
Yes, they're going well. No, they're going well.
Did you make other bets last night that weren't in the show that were losers?
I did. The only thing I did was I took out, in my bets, I took out the -1.5 with the Leafs, and I took out the Detroit-Vancouver under, so...
Right. Yeah. So the Leafs. We'll talk about that. So we got a lot to get to today. Do you mind if I hit back in a major way at a hater just for like 2 minutes?
I'd love that. Yeah.
And it would entail me. It's going to entail me. All right. So let's get to it. There's this guy, 09 Mr. Dennis. Now tell me your first reaction based on his comment. Right. This was his comment that he put on the NHL on yesterday's NHL segment. You know, we take the segments out, and this guy commented on it. And here's his take on our videos. Right. He goes, "This is 09 Mr. Dennis," and you can all see this comment on yesterday's NHL segment entitled NHL Betting Predictions Monday Free Picks, Loshak in the Bag. His comment is, "I just bet against Loshak to keep on winning. Ha ha."
There's no numbers to back up that statement whatsoever.
All right. 09 Mr. Dennis. Hey, asshole. Here's some numbers that you might want to consider before you make your next comment on our videos. NHL, my overall record, 39-33, plus 7 units, plus 9% ROI. NBA, 29-13, plus 15 units, plus 33% ROI.
Here's another number for you, Dennis, right there.
There's one. MMA, 30-17 on the year, plus 13.5 units, plus 21% ROI. College football, 87-76, plus 4 units up on the year, plus 2.3% ROI, which happens. You know, when you get up into the hundreds, the ROIs become single digits and everything, but still up 4 units. NFL 13-8, plus 4 units, plus 16% ROI. And of course, in MLB, I was 329 and 289, plus 11 units, plus 1.5% ROI. So, Mr. Dennis 09, if you could be a little bit more specific when it comes to the bets against me that you are making to keep on winning, we would appreciate it. It'd become clearer, because as of right now, we don't understand the comment.
It is impossible.
There we go. Did I hit back at that hater? Well, was that a nice little bit there?
Fucking bozo.
All right, thanks. I hope that, yes, absolutely. Jim the Bag. Listen, I'll tell you what. Those numbers in both NBA and NHL, I definitely would not have been able to do without your research that I take very careful consideration when you're because I'll tell you what, there's a difference between handicapping and betting and just giving solid research. Just because you give solid research doesn't mean you're going to make winning bets, but solid research is essential to winning bets, and I absolutely take your research. Every word I store away in my head, Jim.
That's very kind of you to say, because there was 22 fucking games that I had to cap this morning.
Yes. All right. So we'll get into that, and I would definitely not say that if it weren't absolutely true. There's no way in hell my NBA and NHL records would be nearly as good as they are right now if it hadn't been for your research sitting next to me every day. The college and NFL ones would be the same, but the NBA and the MMA ones would be the same, and MLB would be the same. But the NBA and NHL, no fucking way. All right. So Jim, let's get into the games today. We got, of course, 2 college football games, which I do have a pick on both games that I'm liking, and I bet. And we got massive cards in NHL and NBA. What would you like to start with, Jim?
Why don't we start? I find the NHL card very difficult, and the basketball, I have a way more official pick. So
yeah.
Whatever.
So let's start with NHL. Well, there were a bunch of plays that I did bet. We'll see. Again, I only do the ones that didn't have that all had overnight lines. So the games that didn't have overnight lines, I did not even look at. But there's a couple of things. It's definitely an interesting card, and there's definitely a couple of bets that I did make. I guess let's start with Edmonton, the Islanders, right? Jim, Edmonton is not winning. Not really scoring. They did win that day where we both bet against them, I believe. Yeah, right. But other than that, they're not winning. At some point, the scoring's got to pick up, right? The Islanders are scoring and are kind of winning. So I'm looking at this one and I'm thinking, first of all, at this line, why do we not want to fade Edmonton here? And my second thought is at some point, Edmonton's going to pick up their scoring. And if it does here at least a little bit, we got to like the over. The Islanders, of course, have been a dead over team, 8 straight overs. Why do we not like the over here? And why do we not like Edmonton here, Jim?
Well, I don't believe their offense is going to...
You don't, huh?
No, they're just too slow. They're big and slow, and that will work in a 7-game playoff series. But when you're playing in 80, it's not going to work. And they're 25th in power play, 31st in penalty killing. Until we see those numbers improve, they are not going to start winning games. Their minus 13 goal differential is the 5th worst in the league. And the Isles, they lost an early game to the Blues at home early in the year, but then they've beaten the next 3 Western Conference teams that have come to the Barclays Center easily. They're now 26-4-4 versus Western Conference teams at home, and the Islanders are the play, and the odds are wonderful. We don't even need to take them by the puck line.
Right. So why do you think that the odds are so low? It's just still people are thinking that because of McDavid, Edmonton is a much better team than they really are?
Absolutely. Because of the belief in the Oilers before the season started. And the market hasn't changed yet, and the market hasn't come on. The Islanders have won 6 of their last 8.
I know. All right, well, I did bet this one on the overnight line. I did take it, Islanders -1, just a standard play, and I will make that one an official pick. Islanders -1, and what do you want here, Jim?
I want the Islanders money line.
Okay, so the Islanders money line, best line right now, using SBRodds.com, free line shopping service, -120. So that's the line you're going to get. And I'll take them on -1. So the money line part of that will be -120. And the puck line part of that will be +237 right now at Pinnacle. But you don't like the over here at just 5.5, actually.
I think it's very attainable, and then my lean would be over. But until the Oilers can continually start scoring, and with the way I'm a couple units down in hockey, and so I think
you can't take those kinds of risks.
I'm just not going to take them.
That's what sucks with sports betting. If you're up units, you can take risks, and then you don't have to be so risk averse, because as we know, being risk averse is one of the most harmful things to being profitable. And when you're down unit, but you have to be risk averse when you're down units. It's really tough, Jim. I feel your pain. I can be a little bit less risk averse than you, so I will take the over at 5.5 -121. And I wish I could, if it wins, I wish I could just kick you a half unit, just slide a half, because you certainly deserve it. Obviously, your opinions on Edmonton are definitely going to impact my handicapping of them for at least the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we'll keep a close eye on them, but I truly think they need to make a trade. I mean, the whole idea of bringing Ryan Strome into the lineup was to have offense that they thought Eberle wasn't providing. Right. Now, Eberle has not looked that good in the Islanders, but Strome has done absolutely nothing, and now that they get to play against each other, I don't think it'll spark anything.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to take the over 5.5, -121 is the line right now at Pinnacle, and -1, and Jim's taking them conservatively just on the money line, and I'm not going to triple up, but what do you think about the Islanders team total over 2.5 -153?
I think that the Oilers, because they have no speed, are going to play a system where they dump the puck in and they close off space continually, and they're going to create a situation where the only time they'll take risks is on the power play or when that McDavid line has the offensive zone faceoff. So I just don't trust. They're not playing a free-flowing game, so I don't know how they're going to. How there's going to be a ton of offense. I mean, I expect them to go over 5.5, but I'm not certain of it.
Okay, Jim, there's a bunch of other picks that I'm definitely going to give on today's NHL card, but let's go to you. What's a pick that you're really liking you can't wait to share with us all here?
I'm going to take the Los Angeles Kings.
That was one of the picks I was going to give, Jim.
Over the Anaheim Ducks. Another spot where all we have to do is take the money line and no need for the puck line. Kings are 10-2-2 and off to a great start. They've handled this Jeff Carter injury extremely well. Very impressive. And the issue with the Ducks is they're missing their best forward with Getzlaf and their best defenseman with Cam Fowler. They have the 30th power play in the league because of it. When they just lost a 2-1 shootout to the Sharks, but they were outshot 45-26 in that game. They were destroyed in that game, but hot goaltending kept them in it. I'm not going to take any 5-goal unders.
Right.
It
was actually 5.5 minus 143 at Pinnacle on the overnight line.
I'm not going to take anything over any unders that are bigger favorites than minus 130. Both those things I'm going to completely take out of my action completely.
Actually, right now it's minus 128 at BetOnline/SportsBetting.ag. I don't mean to. I'm just saying, line shopping. It's great for betting and for joke making when it comes to lines.
Is it really at minus
128 at BetOnline/SportsBetting.ag? Pinnacle has minus 133. Heritage minus 135. Bunch of places 135. You wager 135, but BetOnline/SportsBetting.ag just minus 128. Ooh, that's tempting and more tempting, isn't it?
It's very tempting.
Jim, it's tempting. I don't know. I don't want you to do something rash and regret it, but then again, I want you to get some units so that you can feel good sitting next to me every day in the show.
Well, let's go. Let's come back to it. I've got the Kings right now.
Let's come back to it. Jim, I liked LA as well. I am going to take them, though. I'm going to take a little bit of a volatility in here bet into volatility because it might go way under. We might see the Kings win 2-0 or 3-0 or 3-1. I will take them on the -1 line. The money line part of that is minus 105, and the puck line part of that is plus 277 at Pinnacle. So that's a big underdog line there for the Kings. What do you want them on? How do you want them on this one?
I'm just going to take the money line.
Okay, minus 105 at Pinnacle is the best line right now. And the Kings, so you believe, I'm a believer in Jonathan Quick for sure, his hot start, that it's for real. And the Kings' hot start to the season, you think that's for real as well?
I don't know how for real it is. I mean, they're going to be a good hockey team, but a 10-2-2, they're not going to keep this up.
Right.
They're a big, slow, tough hockey team, which will make, again, it's like they'll make them very tough to play against in the playoffs, but over 82 games, you're going to want offense sometimes. You can't shut every team down every night, so I don't think it'll stay quite like this.
Okay, well, I'm on LA -1. Jim is on the LA money line, and what do you think about, if you don't like the under, what about just Anaheim, under 2.5, plus 105? That's kind of tempting, right?
That's very tempting, plus 105.
If they get to 3, you lose. But, if it's a 3-1 game, 2-0, 3-2, you win it, and you get even slight plus money there.
That's very tempting. That's very tempting. Both of those, the under and
all right, we'll review it. And every time we say we're going to revisit something, we don't get to it. But this time we will, because I want you to get a couple units on there, Jim. I'd hate to have you have a lean and then not add it on and have it cash. But we'll get to that. We'll get to back that one. This is a game. Let's go to another game that I want to definitely give. I definitely bet this one. Florida and Carolina, right? Both teams losing, but Florida scoring just horrible defensively, and Carolina giving up a lot of goals, just horrible offensively. What's likely to happen here? My sense is that Florida might have some value as a road dog. I kind of like the over because I think Florida will be productive offensively, and Carolina might pick it up at least a little bit offensively. And I'm definitely kind of liking the Florida team total over, which is just 2.5 minus 117. I'll start out right now. I'll definitely give the Florida team total over 2.5 at just minus 117 right now at Pinnacle, and I'm also definitely leaning Florida at plus money and the over on the game in general. What's your take on this one? An interesting matchup here, Jim.
A very interesting matchup. Yeah. Canes can't score. Panthers can't keep the puck out of the net. Canes are 27th in the league in offense, averaging 2.6 goals per game. They're 0-2-2 in their last 4. They don't look good, but at least they're keeping the puck out of their net, unlike the Panthers. The Panthers have allowed 5 or more goals in 3 of their past 5 games, a league worst defense, 4.2 goals per game. Now, Roberto Luongo is back in net, and that doesn't change. Like, he's 3.83 goals against average, 901 save percentage. I don't expect those numbers to get that much better this year. Panthers are 1-4 on the road, though. Look very bad on the road so far this year. It's a tough game to figure out. Very tough.
Well, I'm going to take the Florida team total over 2.5 at -117, and I will also throw on the full game over at 5.5 -110 at BetOnline. Pinnacle has -111, but BetOnline is beating a lot of these Pinnacle lines on NHL totals, and they've done it here over 5.5 -110 at BetOnline sportsbetting.ag. Florida, Carolina, and I would give Florida as a plus, as a road dog here, but I don't want to triple up on the game, so I'll just give those 2 plays. If Florida wins, they almost definitely get over 2.5 goals, so I'll take the casher on that one. I'm on this one 2 ways, Jim. You're going to pass on it?
I'm going to pass on it.
Okay, what else would you like to hit us up with in terms of value plays, NHL for Tuesday, November 7th?
Well, I find this Golden Knights Montreal Canadiens game extremely interesting, and I've been trying to figure out a play. We know that Price has been out the last 2 games with a lower body issue. We don't know if he's going to be back in there tonight. Supposedly he's been practicing. The Habs looked really good on that 4-game road swing and caught me by surprise, earning 6 out of 8 points, beating the Jets and Blackhawks back-to-back. And we just saw what the Jets did to the Stars on the road. The Jets are a good hockey team, and the Habs are scoring goals, and so are the Golden Knights. So, with a 4-string goalie and goal for Vegas, it just looks like the over screaming at me. Screaming at me, and I don't know if
I can
listening.
read the risk. You know what's screaming at me is your risk aversion, Jimmy the Bag. That's what's screaming at me. I hear you, though. Look, when you're down units, it's tough because then you're like, you really want to be sure, but you got to take a chance no matter what. You can't let your risk aversion, put you off of positive EV plays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to take the over in this one.
Okay, all right. I didn't mean to talk you on that one, but it sounds to me like you like it. I wouldn't doubt your handicapping. So you're going to take the over 6 -110. That's almost universal across the board. Vegas and Montreal over 6 -110. That one didn't have an overnight line, so I did not look at that game yet. But your initial analysis of it makes me think that's a good play.
It feels like I don't want to call it low-hanging fruit, but it feels like it's just staring us in the face. The Canadiens' backup goalies look very good. Is that can that possibly continue? Mm-hmm. No. So, and if Price comes back and goal, that's even better for us. Mm-hmm. So I just every single which way I look at it, this game looks like there's going to be goals. All
right, let's move on to the 2 other games that are both interesting to me that I did both bet. Let's talk about the first one, Arizona and Pittsburgh. Now, obviously, Pittsburgh having trouble scoring, yet here they are, -250. Bam! The market doesn't care at all. The market's like, fuck it. Here you go. Bam! -250, Pittsburgh. You got Crosby and Malkin. Here you go. -250. And also, obviously, Pittsburgh has been a big under-trending team, I believe, certainly with their team totals. They just haven't been scoring. At some point, their scoring probably is going to pick up. So I'd be leaning under here, and I would also be leaning to the Arizona team total under if Pittsburgh might come out and have a 5-2 win and the game goes over. But Arizona at under 2.5, I did bet that one. I got it at -125 at Heritage. Now it's down to a -127 at Pinnacle. What do you think about these lines, Jim?
They're huge. And the Pens are getting Justin Schultz back, as well as Matt Hunwick. But Schultz is really going to help with that breakout pass. He's going to help their offense immensely, and they need the help. Crosby has 0 goals in his last 8 games. Kessel has 0 goals in his last 6 games. They led the league last year with 3.39 goals per game. This year they're 26th with 2.63 goals a game, and that's got to change. They're still second in the league in power play at 28.8%, which means they've only scored 25 goals, 25 even-strength goals in 16 games. That's not a Pens team that I remember, and they clearly are missing Schultz. Now, the Pens have shut the Coyotes out in back-to-back games at PPG Paints Arena. The Coyotes are 2-12-2 at 28th in goals per game at 2.5, 23rd in power play, 28th in penalty killing. So you have to think that the Pens power play is going to light up this garbage penalty kill. It's I can't take the Penguins -1.5 at this line. It's just not. Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
I'm going to take Arizona on the team total under 2.5 minus 127. I bet that one. If it cashes, if Pittsburgh runs away with it, this one might be a 7-1 game where the under doesn't come close to cashing, but the Arizona team total over does cash. If Arizona gets to 3 goals, then good for them. My sense is that it's either going to be low scoring or high scoring, and mostly with Pittsburgh doing the bulk of the scoring.
Schultz is really going to help. Their defense desperately needed that outlet pass, and he'll bring it for him.
Well, let's get to some comments in a second, but first let's talk about St. Louis and New Jersey. This is another interesting game. Both these teams obviously very banged up. Allen was not so good in his last start, and in general not good on the road, but I'm thinking that maybe he'll come back here and have a better game here. A lot of injuries for both teams. My sense is, though, that it's a little bit of a better spot for St. Louis, and maybe they're a good play on the puck line, on the -1 line. What's your take on that one?
I'm concerned that Tarasenko left practice with an upper body injury and is questionable. Schwartz is being incredible, but in the past year and a half or 2 years, he has been the whole offense, and now we're seeing a much deeper offense with Shannon and with Schwartz. But the injuries are a big deal. Kyle Palmieri, Marcus Johansson, Steve Santini are injured and will not play for the Devils. And, Jake Allen, his numbers against the Devils are ridiculous. Now, I don't really care because the sample size is so small, but he's 5-0 with 2 shutouts in 5 career games versus the Devils. This is a very different New Jersey Devil team. Yeah. But because of the injuries, I would lean under, but I don't want to make a move on one of the sides because I just who knows?
See, I'm kind of a believer in Allen here, even though he hasn't been good on the road, and his last game wasn't that good. I think we'll see a bounce back from him. And at the line, I'm going to take St. Louis. I'm going to take him again on the -1 line. The money line part of that will be -116, and the puck line part of that will be +246 right now. The line at Pinnacle, so that's a pretty decent sized underdog line for St. Louis -1. And I'm just kind of liking St. Louis here, at the current line. If it were higher than what it is now, but I think they have a bigger edge than the market's giving them credit for. What do you think? No?
This Devils team is really impressed, but as we've seen, this is their first home game off of a road trip, and that's a good time to fade.
And they have injuries as well. And I feel like it's a bounce back spot for St. Louis. All right, so let's review the plays so far. Jim, if there are any plays from the other 2 games that you want to give, we'll get to that, and then we'll get to some comments. Jim, understandably risk-averse with just 3 plays. Isles money line, Kings money line, and Vegas Montreal over 6 -110. And I am not risk-averse today for lots of reasons. I'm on the Isles -1, the over 5.5 -121 in that game. The Florida team total over 2.5 -117. The over in that game as well, 5.5 -110. I'm on the Kings -1, the Arizona team total under 2.5 -127, and St. Louis -1 as well. Now let's review some comments, and there's 2 other games that we didn't get to that didn't have overnight lines that I did not look at. Do you like anything from either of those games, Jim?
They're both tough to figure out. The Canucks at Flames is the Flames just aren't scoring. They've moved Michael Furlan to the top line with Monahan and Goodrow, and it looks like it's working. For how long it will work, I don't know. They're 30th in the league in goals, averaging just 2.4. But they did manage 4 goals last out versus the Devils, and the surprising Canucks are 4-1-0 on the road, and on the second half of a back-to-back, lost to the Red Wings 3-2 last night, 3rd in goals allowed at just 2.4. They've managed very well without Edler. I think this will be this is a great situation for the Flames to have a tired Canucks team fly in, and then they arrived at like 2 in the morning or something last night, and I think this is a great spot for the Flames, but they're giving nothing to Vancouver. I mean, Vancouver's a +160 dog.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what, if Vancouver had won last night, I'd be all over Calgary here, but they're kind of annoyed and pissed at what they did last night. And again, I agree with you. I think Calgary should be the favorite here, clearly, but at this line, actually it'd be Vancouver or nothing for me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. The line is just way too heavy on the Flames here.
All right, we have some funny comments here. Comment of the day right now. Ooh. Sportsbet University. I'm gonna give this one a comment of the day stamp right now. Sportsbet University, gents, love you guys, but this set looks like a kid's furniture background at American Furniture Warehouse. Not your fault, but ... have them fix it for you. Ouch.
Are there empty bottles of Jameson at American Furniture Warehouse?
Yeah, the alcoholic kids, I don't know. Yeah, wow. Comment of the day, Sportsbet University. And actually, looking at it right here on camera, it does look like a lot more kids' furniture-y than it does in real life. But even in real life, it does look kind of like, but I kind of like that. It's kindergarten chic. You know what I mean?
Kindergarten chic.
That's what this is. I mean, kindergarten chic is very, very on trend right now and projected to be top 3 in terms of furniture style trends for 2018.
I did not know that.
So yeah, so maybe that's. I mean, I don't know who designed it. Was whoever designed this. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely on trend. I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean that you like it, but it's definitely on trend right now. Let's see other comments here. Skooma Steve saying, I'm on the Blues. McGogster, guy who knows what he's talking about. McGogster 99 says Arizona will score, Pete. So he disagrees with my Arizona team total under. What do you think? You agree with him there?
I find that Arizona at such a big dog is very enticing, and I've been looking at it for a few hours now. You're getting such a giant number on Arizona. You know, they could play really hard. Pittsburgh's not. I mean, but I do think Justin Schultz is really going to help the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Jesus Cabrera says Pete looks like Cheech. Thank you, Captain Obvious comment of the day by Jesus Cabrera. No, I love Jesus Cabrera. That is a. I do look like Cheech, and I can actually do an okay Cheech impression, which I'll do later on. For some reason, my impressions come to me like after the day is done, the games are over, and I'm in the shower, and I'm totally relaxed. Right now, I'm way too hyped up and intensely focused on the lines and the analysis to think about anything else. But all right, let's shall we move on? Is there anything?
No,
else?
I'm going to add the under in the Kings-Ducks game.
Okay, that's right. We were going to review it. Okay, so you're going to get under 5.5 minus 128. Jim said he's not taking any unders at minus 130 or higher, and I fed him a minus 128 line right on the border. And Jim will. That's like one of those things where it's like, oh, I would only give a blowjob for $1 million. I'm like, what about $990,000? Would you blow a guy for $990,000?
I would be blowing everybody.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So Jim's not taking any unders at minus 130 or higher. What about minus 128? And Jim says yes. He's biting on the Kings and Anaheim under 5.5 at minus 128. And I also mentioned, I don't know, maybe if you like that one, maybe you want to double up here. Again, I don't want to talk you into plays you don't want to give, but the Anaheim team total under 2.5 and plus 105 is looking damn tempting, Jim.
Yeah, it is looking tempting, but I'm just going to stick with the under 5.5 at minus 128.
Right. You don't want to double up. I'm thinking of adding the Anaheim under 2.5 plus 105, although earlier in the year they were scoring a lot. It's just I'm a believer in quick. What's your take on the Anaheim offense in general going forward, Jim?
It's in deep trouble until Getzlaf and Fowler. Yeah. You know what? Fowler isn't really, I mean, Fowler hurts on the power play, but Getzlaf he does everything. He's just a phenomenal player, offensively, defensively, big and soft hands. He's a leader. He calls people out. And he'll still call people out, I'm sure, but not having him on the ice is a huge loss. I think he's just a hell of a hockey player. Okay, well, here we go. Poster Gin Rummy says my NHL model got 4.33 goals projected for Kings Ducks. Also, both goalies, very good numbers in career against opponents. So there you go. Those NHL models. And again, these NHL plays there's no locks and stuff because there's so much variance, you know. So, all right. So, Don Monaco, here's a question, and I will get to it. Don Monaco says, Pete, what books give the -1 line other than 5 dimes? And the answer is many do, but I don't even pay attention to that because I make my own -1 lines. The way you do it is you bet the same amount to win on the money line as you bet to risk on the puck line, and then you automatically have a -1 line. And the advantage of doing it that way is, first of all, you don't have to do them at the same books, and second of all, doing it that way, you'll get better odds than because the books will charge you for buying and selling runs in baseball or points or goals in hockey, so you don't get charged for that. You get the lowest juice on the puck line and the money line, and you can also do it at different books. So I make my own +1 and -1 lines. I do it that way, and it's better. That's the answer, Don Monaco. So yes, other than 5 dimes, lots of books do, but I make my own, and if you're going to bet them, you should too. Absolutely. All right. So should we move on? We're about 10:30. Sure. Joe Landon, my man, Joe Landon says that I need to take up donations for my room cleaning service. I don't know if you know the deal I made, but I have no cleaning service for the month at the hotel.
Why is that?
because I negotiated a lower price for the hotel.
Oh, very nice. See, there you go. Positive EV. Jim putting his money on his mind and his mind on his money. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see. Irie O-Star says, SBR need Pete and the bag on the SBR Hall of Fame. Irie O-Star, thank you so much. God, I really appreciate those comments. All right, so let's move on to, should we do NBA or should we get to a college?
Let's do NBA.
All right, here we go. NBA, a huge card, right? 10 games, only one didn't have an overnight line, and the other 9 did. A bunch of bets that I made. Jim, big card here. I'm sure you've looked into this card in depth. I'm sure there's 2 or 3 plays you're really liking. Hit us with what you're liking here, Jim.
I like this play the most.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Raptors first quarter and first half.
Wow, okay.
I just think they're going to come out firing. Lowry was kicked out in the second quarter from 2 quick technicals. They did not have a very good road trip. The whole team is talking about getting off to a fast start. The whole team. They were outscored again in the first quarter of the Wizards game, 32-17. And the Bulls have had our number over the years. They've beaten us and beaten us and beaten us and beaten us. And now this team is awful. And I mean, they have heavyweight contender Bobby Portis back in the lineup, but they're just a bad basketball team. And I think I'm concerned that the Raptors go up by 22 or 23 and empty the bench, and the Bulls come back in. So I'm not going to take the full game. But first quarter, first half, I think are really good spots.
All right. Well, for the first half, we can give you 6.5 minus 101. Is that okay for you?
That's okay.
And the quarter lines, of course, are not out yet. When I do it at these times, I always just go with the Pinnacle Opener. You can go with any other book if you want.
Pinnacle Opener sounds good to me.
Okay, and the way that works is that, like, the Pinnacle Openers usually come out later. So if you think that the line's going to get bet up, you might want to go with like the Bookmaker Opener. But if you think that the line won't, then you'll want to go with the Pinnacle Opener. And Pinnacle Opener.
Yep.
All right. First quarter Pinnacle Opener and first half minus 6.5 minus 106. Now my only concern about that is that as bad and the Bulls have been, and if you recall, Jim, that was one of the first comments that I made in the videos, doing the videos with you. It was like these Bulls are just a complete mess. But they have cashed. I think they're 5-2 ATS in their last 7, and their last game was a fluke. It was an OT loss as an underdog. So they've been cashing recently.
Yeah, it's not the Bulls really that I think I'm making this bet because of. I'm making it because of the Raptors. They've just been on a road trip. They just look bad, and Lowry was so angry not being in the game against the Wiz. I think that they're going to come out absolutely firing. I think the ACC is going to be nuts. I think it's going to be just so loud and I'm doing it because of the Raptors, not because of the opposition.
And in line with your analysis, I actually agree with your analysis, but I bet this one because of that on the over. I did take the over. I got it at 200.5, and now the best line is actually going to be, I'll take at Pinnacle over 201 plus 102. A bunch of places have 200.5s all over the place, but Pinnacle has 201 plus 102, and I will take the over on that one, over 201 plus 102. And I was also thinking maybe about a shot with the Toronto team total over, which would just be 105.5. You know, I mean, tempting, but all right, I'll lay off that one. All right, what else do you like, Jim?
Oh, I like a bunch in this card. I like a whole bunch.
Right,
a whole bunch. Okay, I like the Jazz tonight. There'll be no Joel Embiid, and I don't know why there's no Joel Embiid. He's upset about it. It's not a back-to-back. I figure they just don't want to put him up against Rudy Gobert, but Embiid is a beast. I don't know why, but so maybe that's not it. Jared Bayless is also out. And the Jazz all of a sudden aren't defending. Right. And that won't be acceptable. They've allowed 116.3 points per game in November, and they're going to really clamp down defensively. I've been really impressed with Donovan Mitchell, led the Jazz in scoring 3 of their last 5 games, averaging 23.3 points per game in November. It's very surprising. And I like the Jazz to really clamp down and play very strong defensively and beat up the Sixers. Okay,
I'll give my opinions on that in a second. It's market wide. It opened at 7 on the overnight line. Now it's headed down. Pinnacle has 6.5 plus 102, or Intertops has -6 minus 110. Which would you like, Jim?
I will take -6 at
minus 110. Intertops, friend of the show, sponsor of the show. Thanks so much, Intertops.eu, for providing us with the best line, market-wide, on Jim's pick for this game, Utah, minus the points. I'm not trying to talk you off it because I'm definitely not betting Philly, but this one makes me nervous. Anytime you have a situation where you have a team like, first of all, they covered 6 in a row, right? Now Embiid's sitting for this game. He's pissed off, and in a spot like this, especially with Utah struggling a little bit, ATS recently, it makes me nervous. I would definitely be leaning Philly here.
I love the Jazz in this situation.
Okay.
I absolutely love them. I like taking teams who have been called out by their coaches because of their lack of hustle defensively.
Yes.
Whenever that happens, I believe my ROI is very good, and I'm very confident in the Jazz at -6.
Yes, that's something I look for as well, Jim, and I did not realize that the coach called him out on this one, although you can pretty much fill in the blanks as he should have. All right, Jim's on Utah, -6, -110. What else are you looking at, Jim?
I like the Spurs tonight. I like the Spurs. Man, when Pop gets them to turn, we're talking about defensive pressure all show long, but when they turn up the defensive pressure, they win basketball games. And now Gallinari is joining Teodosic on the injury front. The Clippers are 24th in the league in assists, and it's starting to show. Austin Rivers does a lot of things well, but distributing the ball is not one of them, and that's just going to hurt them more and more and more as the season goes on. And I like the line. The line I was very happy with when I saw it this morning.
Yeah, it's mostly 3.5. The best line right now. There are 3.5s, -110s all over the place. Pinnacle does appear to have a slight lean to San Antonio right now, -3.5, -111. But a bunch of places have 3.5, -110. We can give you that one. I was actually thinking maybe about about taking the Clippers here. They're coming off of a loss where they're kind of pissed off on their homestand. They weren't doing well, right? And I was kind of thinking that maybe even early, maybe in the first half, that the Clippers will come out a little bit pissed off. And I still feel like the Spurs, when Popovich lights a fire under them, obviously, they do what has happened with them for many years now when he lights a fire up under them. But I'm not exactly sure they have the personnel that they have had in years past. And so I'm willing to bet against them more than I was in years past. And I was kind of leaning the Clippers here. And I actually did bet this one. I took the Clippers team total over. I got it at 98.5, and it is now 98.5, although -124 at Pinnacle. But you're really liking the Spurs here for defensive reasons.
I do. And I think the Clippers are getting frustrated.
Yeah.
They're not. There's not enough distribution, and the Spurs will make them more frustrated. I think this is a nice spot.
All right. Anything else you're liking, Jim?
Yes, I like a ton on the basketball card today.
Okay.
I like the Pacers.
Me too.
Against the Pelicans. Both teams are 5-5, but I just thought that the Pacers are getting no respect from the bookmakers. It's basically a pick'em, and I can't comprehend why it would be a pick'em. The Pelicans are coming off back-to-back road wins versus the two worst teams in the league. They're coming off. The Knicks, see, the Pacers have such balanced scoring, whereas the Pelicans have just two players doing everything. The Pelicans haven't reached 100 points in their last 4 games.
Right.
The Pacers are coming off road losses to the Sixers and Knicks where they just couldn't get stops. And the Knicks came back from an 84-65 deficit at one point. So the Pacers were dominating that game in New York against a team that we've seen is playing well. And so I just think that the Pacers are going to take care of business at home.
Yeah, I agree with you. I bet that one on the overnight line for all the reasons. My only hesitation was just that the line didn't quite make sense to me, right? I would have expected the Pacers to be getting a decent amount of respect here. I also bet the under at 218, and I think my favorite play, which you alluded to there, New Orleans is not really scoring, that explosively, would be on the New Orleans team total under, which I did bet at 108.5, Jim, and it's still 108.5.
Wow, New Orleans team total. That's a good bet. I think both of those bets are really good.
All right, so what's your play on this one going to be?
My play is going to be the Pacers by the spread.
Best line right now at BetDSI. It's -1 most places, but BetDSI line shopping here at SBRodds.com. Pick 'em -110.
And I think that the Pacers guards are going to outplay the Pelicans guards by a fair margin, but I'm uncomfortable. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave the Pacers -1, but I do think you're on the right side.
What do you think about the total? You don't like the under? Or
No, I do like the under, but the Pacers are going to try to run at the Pelicans. I think that's just the way I think the way to play is when we know that you're going to have to get a lot of heart and hustle from your bigs. You're going to want your 1 and 2, the Collison. You want Collison to run all day. I love Collison as a point guard. I think he's such a very underappreciated point guard, and I think they're going to dominate and run the Pelicans silly.
All right, well, I will take the under here. It's a 218 -105 at Pinnacle right now is the best line. And I will also throw on the Pelicans team total under, which is 108.5 -114 right now at Pinnacle. And I'm definitely agreeing with your pick. And I want to give Indiana as well, but I'm not sure if I want to triple up on it. But I'm trying to give all my leans, and I will give it. Indiana, pick 'em minus 110. I bet it. I like it, and I'm trying to give my leans, which have been doing well. So what the hell? I'll triple up on this. Not really tripling up. It's doubling up on both the side and the total. So all right, I'll give the under, the pick Indiana pick'em, and the Indiana team total under. What else are you liking, Jimmy the Bag?
I like the New York Knickerbockers this evening.
As did I. Yeah.
Porzingis is a monster. Now, the team's fortunes changed when Jarrett Jack took over from Raymond Sessions at the point, but we've seen enough of Jack over the years to know that he's not the long-term answer, but he's distributing the ball, which is very much needed. Enes Kanter is figuring out that Porzingis is the star, so he should just hustle, and that's what he's been doing, 11.3 rebounds a game. The Hornets have now lost 2 straight, and Kemba Walker's only 8 for 27 over those games, but the Michael Kidd-Gilchrist loss, he's out with a personal matter, is affecting them. They have Dwayne Bacon starting in his absence, and it's not working very well. Malik Monk has looked good, but I just think this is a spot where the Knicks have won 5 of 6. They have momentum, and things are working out for them, and Howard is going to look slow out there, so I like the spot.
I bet this one as well. My only reservation was that this line made even less sense to me than the Indiana line, Jim. This is like the Indiana line doesn't make a lot of sense, but it makes more sense than this one, Jim. Why are the Knicks getting so disrespected here?
I don't know why the Knicks are getting so disrespected. My only thought is that the books believe that Kemba is going to completely dominate the game because the Jarrett Jack is a tough guy, but he's getting older and he is better defensively maybe than he is offensively, but he's just going to have such a tough time with Kemba Walker. So that's my only idea, is that they think that Kemba is going to dominate.
All right, well, the line is all over the place. We could give you -1 plus 102, or we could give you +1 minus 110, which is the line at Bookmaker. A bunch of places have a pick 'em, but Pinnacle has -1 plus 102. Bookmaker has +1 minus 110. Which would you like, Jim?
I will take the +1.
Okay, +1 minus 110, and I will also take the Knicks here, and I will take them. I'll take them +1. No, I'll take them -1 plus 102. I'll take that one, and I also bet on this one the Charlotte team total under. I got 105 and is now still 105 minus 126, and I will also take that one. Team total under 105 minus 126. Charlotte team total under 105 minus 120. They're just not a very dynamic offense. They might get over this one. Obviously, if it goes into overtime, it'll go over. But I'm going to take a shot with the team total under as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talk on this game right now in the forum. Big Easy VZ likes the over Knicks Hornets. LT says the under is strong. Tomor says, I think the 0-4 start, odds makers don't think the Knicks are that good. Porzingis without Melo is a different player, and he sure has looked that way.
Yeah, I as far as the total is concerned, I kind of like the Knicks team total over and the Charlotte team total under. So on the full game total, I don't know, but I will take the Charlotte team total under. All right, Jimmy the Bag. Let's see. We'll go on to get to more picks, but let's just review what the picks have been so far. Jimmy the Bag is on Toronto first quarter, Pinnacle opener. First half -6.5 minus 101. Utah -6 minus 110. The Spurs -3.5 minus 110. Indiana Pick'em minus 110, and the Knicks +1 minus 110. And I'm on Chicago, Toronto over 201. Indiana Pick'em minus 110. The Knicks -1 plus 102. The Charlotte team total under 105. New Orleans, Indiana under 218, and the Indiana team total, the New Orleans team total under 104, 108. Sorry, Jesus Christ. So many fucking teams and lines. The New Orleans team total under 108.5 minus 114. All right, Jim, is there anything else you want here?
There is.
All right.
I'm going to take the under in the Grizzlies-Blazers game this evening. Both teams are 6-4. The Grizz beat the Clippers Saturday, then lost to the Lakers Sunday. Gasol went 6 for 18 from the field. He doesn't put those type of games up twice in a row. Doing a great job, averaging 19.3 and 9.3. They didn't have Parsons versus the Lakers. He'll be available tonight. And I like the look of Dylan Brooks. Canadian Dylan Brooks started the last two games. He's very athletic, and I like the look of him in the lineup. But the Blazers are just a different team than we've been accustomed to, and my angle is that the books haven't caught up. They're second in the league in rebounds at 48.6. They're seventh in defense, allowing 100.9 points per game. Things have changed with Nurkic in the lineup, and he's starting to look good, and they're starting to realize that they can do it all now if they keep going down low to Nurkic, because that was something that they haven't had. And man, he put in 25 points against the Lakers. I just think this is a different team. And I'm going to start hammering the unders right now in Blazers games.
All right, so the best line right now would be 203.5 minus 110. And this game, I know that Memphis is a little bit salty because of the last two games where they lost. But I was thinking that, as I mentioned, maybe a couple weeks ago, I was going to start looking for spots to bet on Portland. And this feels like another one where I want to take them at -3. What do you think? What's your reservation about taking Portland here?
I don't. I think the Blazers are going to win this game, but the Grizzlies have looked so good on the road and so good against good basketball teams where they've looked much worse against bad basketball teams. I think the Blazers are a very good basketball team, and I just think the Grizzlies are going to come out to play. That loss against the Lakers was a disappointing one. And yes. Gasol, I tell you, I never see him have two bad games from the field in a row. He always seems to come up, and I think he's going to want to push Nurkic around and show him what it's like to be a veteran in the league. And I think they're going to be battling down low.
Yeah. I wanted to take Portland here, and I was thinking about taking the Portland team total over. But you like the under in this one, and you think that Memphis is going to return to their stronger defensive ways than what they showed in the last 2 weeks.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think they're gonna. I think it's just gonna be a battle. I can't wait to watch this game.
All right, Jimmy the Bag. Do you have anything else? Because I'm going to start reviewing some comments here. Jansen Bonzone says Portland can score. Yeah, I was thinking about the Portland team total over, and I was thinking about Portland -3. I will think about it. Nurkic. Justin Searcy says Nurkic and Gasol don't like each other. Very nice comment there. Yes. Justin Searcy says Lillard struggles against Conley in all caps. Excellent comment there. Jansen Bonzone says that's exactly why I'm fading Memphis, because of the loss to the Lakers. Yeah, I'm just not sure that they're going to be able to come back here and fix their problems immediately, although they might. Let's see. Is there anything else that you want to give here, Jim?
I do. I have one more. I'm taking the Thunder on the first half line against the Kings. Okay. The Thunder are 4-5 and lost 2 straight. Now, I said on this show last week that I thought they were about to go on a run before the Celtics game, and through the first half of that game, I thought I was right. Obviously, I'm not. But the Thunder are second in the league in defense. The Kings are awful. They've not reached 100 points in 4 straight games. De'Aaron Fox leads this team in scoring. I mean, they're 29th in points per game at 93.8. They're 29th in rebounds per game at 39.6. 28th in assists per game. They're just a bad basketball team. And so I think the Thunder are angry after losing 2 straight and are just going to destroy them in the first half. Okay, so that is, again, a game that I didn't look at because no overnight lines, but -6, -110 is the first half line for OKC. And CC924, the first comment I look at here, agrees with you. He likes them on the first half and on the full game. A lot of people are fading the Grizzlies here. I might throw that one on there. Let's see. Let's get to some comments here. Matricia Gilbert says Portland over. Okay, that's interesting. Nick Dial says, give us your best play of the day. I don't know. We got too much stuff to cover. Well, maybe we'll get to that from Nick Dial when we review all the picks. McGogster saying probably fading Memphis tonight against the Blazers. Yeah, a lot of people are fading the Blazers. Tomarino Tomor also on the Thunder. I'd bet the first quarter, not the first half. The Thunder bench is horrible. That's very interesting. Let's see. Looking for other comments. Justin Searcy says the Lakers loss is a blip. A lot of back and forth on that game. A lot of controversy. LT saying, did you said Bulls over the total? Yes, Jim likes Toronto on that one, and I took the over in that game. Sean Williams saying, Loshak, what do you feel about letting the Nets first quarter ride from yesterday? Yeah, that's an interesting one. Again, actually, that one did have an overnight line, and that one I have no opinion on the Brooklyn-Denver game. I didn't bet it, and I'm not going to. That's a game I'm going to pass on. It's a tough. I'm passing on it too. It's a very tough one. The Nets beat the Suns 98-92, which caught us by surprise. They're still third in the league in offense at 112.7 points per game, but 19th in the league in assists at 21.4 assists per game. And that will always be the case that has a score-first point guard. And I think that the Nets are going to score less points as the season goes on because they're not going to get those threes because D'Angelo Russell just doesn't do that. And they had those explosive offensive games when he was hurt. They're last in the league, allowing 116.6 a game. Quentin Acey is back, but Trevor Booker is still hurting. He was dressed and didn't play. We thought he was going to be back last night. He was on the bench and didn't play. So they used Damari Carroll at power forward, and that is not going to work long term. And the Nuggets are averaging 106 points per game, 111 over their last 6, a ton of talent, but they're an inconsistent group. And I don't feel comfortable betting on them because they're just so inconsistent, and they're 28th in the league in free throw line at 72%. I can't count on the Nuggets.
Okay. Someone giving a strong opinion in chat. Sean Audit says matchup problems for the Pacers. Who will stop Anthony Davis or Boogie Cousins? If I'm right about the Pelicans, you owe me a shout out. Remember that. Absolutely. Anyone who says, give me a shout out if I'm right on my pick going against you guys,
sure.
That's a very strong opinion there. Sean Audit, very confident that he likes New Orleans. I mean, look, the line doesn't quite make sense to me. And again, I'm on the under and the New Orleans team total under. So if it's a low scoring game, which New Orleans wins, I will go 2-1 on that game. Sean Audit says he really likes the Pelicans here. Matchup problems for Indiana, which is understandable. Jim, what do you have to say about that?
Well, my man, iRetroStar too thinks that I don't give enough respect and love to the Pelicans, and I hear what you're saying, and I tell you what, that will change when Rondo can run. But with Rondo on the bench, it's just too difficult. It's just too hard for Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins to play 2-on-5, and they're just not getting enough help from the bench. So. And who's going to stop them down low? Well, no one's going to stop them down low.
Right.
But Trey Lyles will get in the way. I mean, Miles Turner will get in the way. And then I love the way Sabonis has been playing this year. And this is a huge opportunity for. Now I know Sabonis is a small body and needs to grow and get bigger to have any chance versus these guys down low. But Sabonis can have some fun with Anthony Davis. I mean, Sabonis is quick and fast and long and. So I'm into Indiana.
Here we go. Tomarino Tomor says Pelicans need this game. Bad record. Indiana doesn't have front line to compete with the Pelicans, in my opinion. Yeah, listen. 2 weeks ago, if you remember, Jim, I was also mentioning that I was looking at spots to play on New Orleans, and just in this spot, I'm going to be off of them, but again, I'm liking the under, and I'm also liking the full game team total. The New Orleans team total under. All right. Unfortunately, we got to move on because we got to cover college football, and I would love to have this be an hour and a half show and get to all these comments and break the hell down out of all these games, or just sit here up until 7 o'clock Eastern time and just talking shit about all this shit until the first game tips. But all right, so. Let's see what we have here. You know what? I'm going to throw on, I'm going to throw on Portland -3. Portland -3. Let me just find that line. Portland -3, -103 at Pinnacle right now. And hopefully that one will cash as well. All right, so to review, these are all the picks for NBA for today. Jim's on Toronto first quarter Pinnacle opener. First half -6.5. He's on Utah full game -6. Spurs -3.5. Memphis Portland under 203.5. He's on Indiana Pick'em and the Knicks +1 -110, and also on OKC first half -6. I got it all, Jim?
Yep.
That's right. And I'm on Chicago, Toronto over. I'm on Portland -3, which I just threw on. Indiana Pick'em -110, which might be a loser, but we'll see. The Knicks -1 +102. Charlotte team total under 105. New Orleans, Indiana under 218, and the New Orleans team total under 108.5 -114. And that's it for NBA today. Now we got to move on to college football. Jim, we got 2 games on the card tonight, and I'm definitely liking a pick in both of these. Let's start with let me just find it. Let's start with the Buffalo Bowling Green game, and some line movement in favor of Bowling Green. Both these teams are getting their starting quarterbacks back, which is interesting. My sense is, though, that will help Buffalo a little bit more, and that Bowling Green's defense is going to be vulnerable here. And I did take Buffalo. I actually went to Heritage, and I got him at 7.5, and I bought it down to 7. But I will give it as a pick at -7.5, -105 at Bookmaker and BetDSI. It's a big line here, but I think it's a big line for a reason, and I'm not a believer in Bowling Green's defense here being able to stop Buffalo. So I'm taking Bowling Green -7.5, -105.
You're taking
pick.
Buffalo.
Sorry, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No problem. But I'm totally.
Thanks,
I think you're on the right track for sure. All the Green Falcons need to do is play Kent State every week.
Yeah.
They had allowed 48 points in back-to-back games, and that's the true Bowling Green that I believe you will see.
Yes.
And Drew Anderson's taken over the starting quarterback spot, and he only really looked good in that crazy overtime loss to Western Michigan, but he did show that he's capable in that game. So I'm not going to make an official pick, but I think you're absolutely on the right track.
Bowling Green also has injuries on the offensive line, which is another problem here. So I'm taking Buffalo -7.5, -105, and in the Akron, Miami, Ohio game, I am taking the over. I did bet this one, and it's 51.5 or 52 market wide. Most places have 52, but line shopping here. Bookmaker and BetDSI both have 51.5 minus 110, and I'm going to take the over. Ragland might be back for Miami of Ohio. If he's not, that's not great, but I think that they'll be able to put up at least some points here, and Akron should do as well. Akron has a very bad pass defense, and I think Miami, Ohio, at some point, one way or another, will be able to take advantage of that. It's not a high total, so I'm going to take the over 51.5 in Akron, Miami, Ohio. That's an official pick, and Buffalo minus 7.5, minus 105. That's an official pick, and I was actually thinking about throwing on the Buffalo first half as well, because I like it enough that I might want to double up on it, and I will double up on it. It's minus 4, minus 115 at Bookmaker and BetDSI. I definitely like the minus 4 better than the 4.5s in case it's a 4-point, because if Bowling Green scores a field goal, then you can have a 4-point half. So I'm going to actually double up on it. Buffalo minus 7.5, minus 105, and the first half minus 4, minus 115, and the Akron, Miami, Ohio over 51.5, minus 110. And that's it for college football, Jim. Do you have anything to say about the Miami, Ohio game? Sorry.
No problem. Yeah, I think Kenny Young's going to have a really big game, and Thomas Woodson is playing really well. So I think that the over would be my lean as well. I think you're absolutely on the right track.
All right, and I was also going to give out Ohio State, which is also a play that I bet. I got him at, I think, 15.5. Whereas that one, I think Ohio State is definitely pissed off about their loss, and they're gonna roll over Michigan State. And wow, it's now down to 14.5 or 15. I will hold off on that one because that one might drop down to 14, and if it does, I will definitely grab that one. But I'm definitely leaning Ohio State, and we'll get to some other college football picks, I guess, tomorrow. I can't. We don't have enough time today. Let's just move on, and if the lines move against me, then that's fine. Also in the NFL, I was thinking about giving Buffalo out as an official pick. I definitely like Buffalo. I talked about that one with Donnie Rightside on Monday, and Buffalo as a home dog to the Saints. I'm not seeing the Saints. I think had a kind of an easy schedule so far. Should I give that one officially? What do you think about that one, Jim?
Well, I have my wrap-up show for the Beat the Bag contest tonight at 7 o'clock our time and 8 o'clock Eastern, and I'm going to do my.
All right, you know what? We'll talk about NFL tomorrow or the next day or on Friday. As of right now, I will just throw on those 3 college football picks: Buffalo on the first half and the full game, and Akron and Miami, Ohio over 51.5 minus 110. And Jim and I, of course, have a ton of NBA plays, and just to review the NHL plays, just to make sure that I got them all. You're on the Islanders money line, the Kings money line, Vegas, Montreal over 6, and you did go on the Kings under 5.5 minus 128. I'm on the Islanders minus 1, the over 5.5 in that game. Florida team total over 2.5. Florida, Carolina over 5.5. The Kings minus 1. Arizona team total under 2.5, which was McGogster 99 says that Arizona can score. He doesn't like that play, and he might be right. And St. Louis minus 1 in the NHL. So a ton of NBA and NHL picks from Jim and I both. I've got 3 college football plays going, and tomorrow we'll have more college football plays, more NHL, more NBA, and maybe some college football from Saturday and NFL from Sunday after Jim does his Beat the Bag wrap-up show. Thanks for all the positive comments. I wish we should get a wrap-up show where we can go through more of these comments without being rushed here, because we have to give out all the analysis and picks.
I think it's a great idea because there's so many great comments, and we love capping all these games with you so much. So it's a treat to go through them.
And I love all the new commenters. Thanks for all your positive comments. Thanks for all of your very valuable analysis. Absolutely. And that's about it. Let's wrap up the show. That does it. We're already at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Tune in tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern time for the Wednesday card.